Evening everybody, welcome to this week's Watch It Wednesday feature. I hope you're all having a lovely day. I'm just going to wait for a few people to join before we get going. Bear with me, just making sure the sound is off on my iPad. We don't want that pinging away, do we? No, right, okay. So tonight I'm going to be showing you a new technique that I learned at the weekend. It's been around for years and I've never ever tried it, but thank you to my wonderful upline Michelle Last. She made us this beautiful card at the weekend, and the technique I'm going to show you is how to get this lovely background, and it's actually called, I don't know the technical name for it, but I suppose we could call it the baby wipe technique. So actually we're going to use some ink refills and some baby wipes to create this lovely pattern. Now I'm using a different stamp set tonight. I don't actually own this one as of yet. It is coming. It was ordered on Monday. So I'm actually going to be using this lovely stamp set here called First Frost. And I'm going to use this particular stamp. But first let's get making our ink pad. So we don't use our actual ink pads, we use a baby wipe to create our own ink pad. So we're going to create something that looks like this, and yes, it looks like a mess, but what we get from it is lovely. I'm just going to clean this off. So what I've got here is a silicone mat. You can use any silicone mat, but this is available. These are the Stampin' Up ones. They're a nice size. So I'm just going to take two baby wipes. I'm just using ordinary baby wipes. You need to make sure that you use, I think it's alcohol-free baby wipes, because they'll actually damage your stamps if you use the alcohol ones. You shouldn't really use baby wipes on your stamps anyway because of the fibres, but we're not cleaning them, we're just going to use this technique. So what I've got here is I have some ink refills. So I've gone for Pear Pizzazz, Calypso Coral, Crumb Cake, and a Blushing Bride. And all we're going to do, my iPad's making a noise now, let's turn that off. I'm just quite literally going to daub on some colour. There's no pattern to it, there's no, well, this particular one that I'm doing, there's no pattern. You just daub on your ink until you're happy. The idea is to fill up the white, because the more white you have, the less coverage you'll have when you go to stamp. We want to make sure we've got lots of coverage. So that is our crumb cake. We'll go in with some Pear Pizzazz. Don't use Pear Pizzazz very often, but actually it's a lovely green. I should use it more. You can see there's no pattern. I'm just filling it all in. Fill in our gaps until we are happy. Ladies really enjoyed putting this card together at the weekend. The ladies that were on my table anyway. It was just nice to do something a little bit different. And the card that Michelle made for us was just beautiful. Okay. So we'll just leave that. Once you're happy with what you've got, we're just going to leave that to soak through. The reason you're using a silicone mat is because obviously it's going to make this bit here quite damp, so we'll just put that there. Now the stamp I'm going to use is this one. And I've got here to start with, I've just got a Blushing Bride card base. My hands are super inky. Evening everyone, to everyone that's watching. I can actually see your comments tonight. The other week I couldn't see comments, so apologies. Right, so I've just got a Blushing Bride card base, which is just a standard C6, and then I've got this piece of Whisper White here, which measures 13.9 centimetre, sorry, 13.9 by 9.5 centimetres. So that's what we're going to go for. So now what we're going to do, I'm just going to swap these over, is this is the ink pad. So we're just going to see how this works. Aha, yes, so that ink has spread out quite nicely. So now I'm just going to stamp onto here with my makeshift ink pad. How pretty is that? So you get a really lovely multi-coloured image. This would be lovely in all different colours for anything you fancy. I'm just doing a mixture of horizontal, vertical, upside down until that whole page is covered. So there we have, I'll just lift it up for you so you can see. There we have our lovely multicoloured Stampin. And how quick and simple is that? So we're just using this lovely ink pad that we've made ourselves, baby wipes, some ink, and then we get this lovely design. How cool is that? Thank you very much, Michelle, for showing us that at the weekend. It's blown my mind and I am obsessed. And I'm sure you can understand why, given the colour of my hands. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a couple of really simple cards this evening, just to kind of show you off this technique. And I'm sure some of you have seen this on YouTube. It is a lovely effect, Sophie, isn't it? It's really clever. So since I've come home, I've looked on YouTube at this technique quite a lot. And there are some really lovely autumnal leaves that I've seen in kind of burnt oranges and crushed curry. It's really pretty. So that's all I've done, is just added that to my card base. How pretty is that? Evening Baz, thanks for joining us. Now, I've got a little bit of scrap here. Oh, excuse me while I lean across the card. I'm just going to put my ink pad out of the way because I will dip my hand in that. Isn't it a lovely technique bag? Baz, I'm in love with it from the weekend. So now I've got this stamp here, which is Thanks. Obsessed with this one at the moment. It's really fun. This is from the Seriously the Best stamp set. It goes with one of the new card kits, which is really fun, but it's such a pretty font. I love it. So I've just got a simple thanks, and I'm going to stamp that in Blushing Bride, which is one of the colours that I've used in the refills. It's like my bit of scrap paper. It's good fun, isn't it? I've got thanks. Evening, Janine. Thanks for joining us this evening. Evening to Paul as well, if you are watching as well. So I've just stamped thanks very quickly, and I'm going to quickly fussy cut this out. Let's see how we get on. Excuse my cutting this evening. Darren just came out, poked his head in, said there's anything I need. It's so warm in this barn. Apparently my cheeks are bright red. I hadn't noticed, but now he said it, I feel really warm. Let's just cut this out. Nice and peaceful out here today. Now the wind has died down. I don't think I could have done a live if the wind was blowing as fiercely as it was at the weekend. Oh, I missed you too, Louise. It was very quiet. I'm just joking. No, it was really sad that everyone that couldn't make it wasn't able to be there. But it's better to stay safe than to risk it. I hope you managed some craft time though, Lou. Let's just cut this out. Nearly there. Does anyone else find cutting out really therapeutic? I wish I could do this quicker for you, but I might end up chopping my hands off. That's it, last bit. Here we go. So there we just have a little thanks banner that's been cut out. It disappears a little bit on that background, so I'm going to use just our Hi Michelle, our everyday label punch, which is really handy. Just punched out a little white banner. So I'm going to stick that on there like so, with a little bit of Tombow. So this is a really nice, simple thank you card, and on the back we'll just add a few dimensionals, 1 and 2. So that's it, a really simple thank you card. I didn't want to take the detail away from this lovely background technique, so just a nice thanks, and that's a good one to go. You could stamp a whole sheet of that, of Whisper White, in this design, and you'd easily get your 4 cards out. Now, the next one I want to show you is something that I've seen. I actually can't remember where I've seen it, but I thought I'm going to give that a go. So, using the same stamp set, this one here, I'm going to use this You're Seriously the Best, and I'm going to use our ink pad again. Just move my card out of the way. So this ink pad will keep going for a little while, and if it gets a bit dry you can just go back over with your refills and fill in where it seems to be dry. I'm not going to do that at the moment. I'm just going to stamp away and see what happens. Now this, I'm going to use my grid paper. I've got a few sheets here. I'm going to fold that in there like so. The reason being is I don't want to get any on the inside of the card. So just fold our grid paper back. And then, where is my stamp? Here it is. So we're going to go with You're Seriously the Best. And I'm going to stamp diagonally. So I'm going to fill this whole card front with this text. Oh, missed it. How fun is this? So you can see it's starting to dry out in places. And this is just showing you that it might be a bit different way to create an ink pad, but I know some of you buy the refills and the stamping spots rather than the big ink pads. So this would be something you could easily do. And we're only using Stamps, ink and paper. So it's a great simple stamping card. For those of you that do classes, it's a great way to show off a way to use the refills. Let's just see what you've just said, Louise. I've just seen your comment pop up. I did do some making. I saw Baz's tulips. Oh, lovely. The baby nut wipe technique is lots of fun, isn't it? So you can see it's just starting to dry out in places. It just shows you that it works on any kind of stamp. You don't necessarily need an infill stamp. My stamping isn't the straightest, but I'm sure you won't hold that against me. Let's keep going. And we're nearly there. Okay. So now we have the whole of the front of the card covered in that ombre technique, but with the writing, You're Seriously the Best. And I'm just going to repeat the exact same process technique in, where's my, let's use this to see what ink we've got left, shall we, on here. So it just says congrats. Oh, not too bad. There. So how fun is that? I love it. I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm so pleased Michelle showed it to us. We all had lots of fun, and I feel very inspired. So let's just quickly trim this round. This is a really handy stamp set to own, this one, because it's quite nice to have some big phrases. And you'd actually use a lot of these, I think, in your day-to-day crafting. More fussy cutting for me, but I'm sure you don't mind. So. Keep going. Can you spray a little water on it? I guess you could do, yeah. That would work. Just spray, use your spritzer to spray some water on it. And that should release ink. It might even be worthwhile just lifting up that first layer, because you can see the ink has soaked right through. All these good suggestions, I love it. So I'm not just teaching you, you're teaching me. How fun is that? Quickly cut this out. Sometimes when you get halfway through this cutting, I think, oh, I wish there was a die. Or more often than not, why did I start this? But we're nearly there now. And like I said before, this would look lovely in any colours. You could use combinations of all the same colour to get an ombre effect, maybe. Oh, I nearly cut that off then. Did you see that? My fussy cutting is fab. I feel under pressure tonight because this is such a big word to cut out. But I find the trick with fussy cutting is to move the paper rather than your scissors. Otherwise, I guess you get more control this way because your hands are staying still. Fussy cutting queen. Oh, Baz, you've labelled it now. Nearly at the end. Might do a little happy dance in my seat when I get to the end. And we're there, yes, right. So I've now got congrats, but again, it looks a little bit lost on there. So actually I've got some black, which I'm just going to place along. This is a strip that is 3 centimetres wide, and it's just a bit of scrap that I've got. So I'm going to stick that on here. Oh, I've dropped it, whoops. You can go there then. I'm going to stick that on just there. And then lay on my congrats. I wasn't actually going to put that there, I was going to put it up a bit higher, but never mind. Like so, and then I'm going to trim off these black strips both sides. 1 and 2, and we're done. So there we have, using our baby white technique, we have 1 card and 2 cards, and the colours that I've used, for those that want to know, I've used Calypso Coral, Blushing Bride, Pear Pizzazz and Crumb Cake, and don't they look good? So there we are, our 2 cards for this Wednesday evening. Thank you so much for tuning in, I do appreciate it. I will be putting up a list of all these products tomorrow onto my blog, so please come back here and you'll find everything you need to know. Have a great evening everyone, take care, bye, see you all next week, bye.